Hi, my name is Nixie and these are my favorite watercolor beginner's supplies. I'm not a watercolor professional by any means, nor I'm not completely new to it as well. But I want to share to you the things I use and still do when I was just starting out with watercolors. Keep in mind that you don't need to buy the expensive supplies if you're just starting out. Trust me, you don't want to be like me. I got my aunt to gift me a big set of Holbein watercolors, and the whole time I felt like I was just wasting them because I kept on making, well, ugly paintings. Anyway, let's start off with the papers. I made sure to get affordable and decent watercolor papers such as the Canson XL Mix Media and Watercolor Paper. This Canson Watercolor Pad I see at our local shops, and these Fabriano Watercolor Pads. The thickest of the bunch would be this Canson XL Watercolor Papers that has 300 GSM each. This regular Canson and Fabriano Watercolor Pad falls in second place, having 200 GSM each paper. And the Canson XL Mix Media is actually my favorite practice sketchbook, even though the pages are only 160 GSM each. I think it works perfectly well with how I paint, and I really don't mind a bit of buckling. Next is regular scope pencil, Mongol 2 HB. This is very popular here in the Philippines. I use it for sketching, and some regular erasers and kneaded erasers. When I'm happy with my sketch, I most of the time do line art. I use Unipin fine line. It's water and fade proof. I love using the 0.1 and 0.8, but if I want to go for a thinner, finer tip, I use the Sakura Micron pen because they have 0.05 tip. It's also waterproof. Now for the watercolors. I suggest that you guys try out Kuretake Gansai Tambi. You have to know though that this isn't exactly your regular watercolors. Gansai Tambi has a different type of binders. Their colors are more intense and has a tendency to be super opaque. They can even dry glossy, and their consistency is gluey. Some people find it hard to mix them or layer them. Why do I suggest this if this isn't exactly a watercolor? It's because you can use it as so. A lot of professional watercolor artists use this for watercolor sketching, and because it's very affordable and decent to use. Also because I have used other affordable watercolors when I was just starting out, but I'm not even going to mention what they were because their quality is just that bad. So bad it wouldn't allow you to learn and may lead you into thinking that you're not learning at all. But I did some research about some affordable watercolors that are worth it to invest with. The Van Gogh watercolors and the Winsor & Newton Cotman, these two are very good student grade watercolors. I also suggest that you get the smaller or the smallest set because not only are they good for beginners, but having a limited palette will actually teach you how to mix colors, which is very crucial in watercoloring. Even the Kuretake Gansai Tambi has a small set. I have to say though, the watercolors that I used to have when I was just starting out, I learned nothing from them. I went from a crappy watercolor to an artist grade watercolor immediately, which is not ideal. Holbein is very expensive, and I wish I asked for the student grades instead to learn, because the whole time I was using Holbein, I just think I'm so unworthy. So please, don't be like me and get student grades art supplies for now. You'll know when you can upgrade. Back to the supplies. These brushes are the brushes I've been using since the beginning. They aren't necessarily just for watercoloring. You can apparently use it with oil, acrylic, and gouache, but it's decent enough and very affordable. I got this from Amazon and this is how they look like. They don't pick up as much water like what expensive watercolor brushes does, but they work just fine for me and for my art style. I also miraculously found this thirsty big boy brush from our local store. It's a size 20 Penta brush. It was the only one in the store and I'm pretty sure it was cheap. And this is so good with watercoloring because, oh my god, this brush is thirsty indeed. It grabs a whole lot of water, so it's good for painting big areas. Grab it if you see it. Technically, these are all you need to get started. I'm sure it'll be automatic for you to grab a container with water in it. But, for the sake of going in depth with the supplies, here are the miscellaneous things you'll probably want as well. 2 containers with water in it. 1 is for cleaning your brushes, and 2 is for clean water. You're also going to be needing towel or tissue to use to control the amount of water in your brush, or to use to lift some excess water on your painting, and for some other techniques that requires it. Mixing plate or palette. You can obviously use the mixing tray that comes with your paints, but if you bought Kuretake Gansai Tambi, you will probably notice that it doesn't come with its own mixing tray. So you might want to get yourself one. And maybe you're like me who doesn't want to clean their mixing palette. You'll also want white gel pens or white wash pens. I use the Unipin white gel pen for some highlight detailing. Masking tapes or washi tapes to have a crisp border, to cover some spot, or to simply hold the paper down in place. Lastly, and it's probably just me, but I love going with colored pencil on top of my paintings because I love the texture it provides. I just use a classic Faber-Castell colored pencil. And that's just about it. I know I said I'm not a beginner, but I'm also not a professional. So all the things that you see here are also my current art supplies. The only difference is that now I'm more confident in using my Holbein. I hope this helped you out, and if you finally start painting, come show me. I would love to see them. Just look for me in my social media linked down in the description. I'm so happy you're interested in getting into watercoloring because this medium is so satisfying and relaxing once you get to know it better. Bye bye, and I will see you in my next video. Hey you, go watch my other videos. Oh, and maybe subscribe because I'm almost 100 subscribers. That would really mean a lot to me. Thank you.